Okay, we are live, and the team that was supposed to be announced at 8 o'clock or 8:30, 9 o'clock. A lot of people are saying late, lack of professional. Sir, you got to understand. Even though we try and give you the latest news, we don't have a telepathy system with the BCCI, wherein we get to know exactly what time the team will be announced. But as soon as it's done, it takes us 5 minutes to get people. You gotta understand, we are coming from different parts of the world. Rahul Rawat, my colleague, is joining me from a different part of the world. I'm in a different part of the world. Yet we've coordinated and we are live on Sports Today on what happens to be a big breaking news day. Rahul, Kamlesh Parmar is saying welcome back, Rahul, on Sports Today, and Shrikant Bhandari, that's the kind of family members we have. He's saying, no problem, I completely understand. Digvijay Mohite joining us from Frankfurt. Okay, let's now address a few things. And Rahul, I'll speak for the first few minutes so that you are
Sure,
just
sure.
up to speed in terms of what's happened. I understand that because you're in Oman and you haven't been, have you been following our coverage on Sports Today earlier? So you know,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay,
In
so you have
fact,
an
I've
idea.
been trying to
Hmm,
get in touch with a few people
hmm,
back home in India about the
ah,
selection. There was a meeting happening, of
hmm.
course, the selection committee meeting, and Rohit Sharma, I'm told, was physically present today
Yes.
during that meeting in Bombay, and so was the chief selector, Mr. Chetan Sharma, while the others joined virtually.
Okay, so now let me give you the most important points in terms of the selection. Okay, a lot of things, if those of you who are subscribers to Sports Today would know, just go back onto our video that we had done at about 6 p.m. That's roughly around 4.5 hours before the team was announced, 4.5 hours in the evening. And we had, uh, you know, almost nailed the entire team. Now, I'm just going to sum up the things we had told you at 6 o'clock. First thing that we had mentioned is that expect Ravi Bishnoi to be back, if not in both teams, at least in one team. He's almost there. He's going to make the Indian team. So on that, I'm reporting now, and it's confirmed with the release that Ravi Bishnoi has made both teams. He's part of the T20 team as well as the ODI team. So that's a new name that comes in. There is no Ravi Chandran Ashwin in both teams, in not the T20 team and not the ODI team. We were hearing that he got injured and did not play in the last ODI. However, what's interesting, Rahul, here is that in the press release they mentioned who's injured, who's not available. For example,
Yes,
there is no mention of Ashwin there. They've also said,
absolutely right.
well, Rahul is going to not be available from second ODI, not before. But they mentioned all these. So, firstly, to you, that the fact that they've not mentioned about Ashwin's injury, should we assume then that he's been dropped from both squads?
See, I was told, in fact, we were told that Ashwin is not available. This is what we were told initially when the squad was not announced. The reason that he was not available was that he was injured. That is what we were told. But I
Yes.
would still assume that he's been dropped.
Okay, great. Now moving on. So the first bit of news we've given you: no Ravi Chandran Ashwin, and Ravi Bishnoi comes in both teams, T20 and ODI team. The other big news that we had told you in advance is that expect Kulcha to be back in ODI cricket. And as things stand right now, Kulcha are back in ODI cricket. Kuldeep Yadav makes a return after almost 7 months. I think that was the Sri Lanka series he last played for the Indian team, but that was a B team of sorts. So he played both the ODI format as well as the T20 format in the Sri Lanka series. Now he's back into the Indian team, only in the ODI squad. So again, Kuldeep Yadav is not there in your
T20.
T20I squad. In T20I squad, you have Akshar Patel as the second spinner alongside Ravi Bishnoi, but you do
And
not have
Washington.
Akshar Patel in ODIs. And you have Washington Sundar. Remember, Washington Sundar was selected to be part of that South Africa tour, but then he got at the last moment got corona, so he had to miss out. So now Washington Sundar is in both squad. So your three spinners, Washington Sundar is in ODI as well as T20I. So two spinners that are consistent: Washington Sundar, Ravi Bishnoi are consistent, and Yuzi Chahal. So three spinners
Yuzi
are
Chair.
consistent in T20Is and ODIs. 3 spinners in both teams: Yuzi Chahal, Washington Sundar, Ravi Bishnoi. But in T20, the 4th spinner in T20 is Akshar Patel. In ODIs, it's Kuldeep Yadav. So we've done with the spinners as such.
Spin
The
count.
interesting bit here is that if you remember, the last time India played T20Is, Avesh Khan and Harshal Patel were part of the T20I squad. Interestingly, Avesh Khan also makes the ODI squad now. Harshal is not there in the ODI squad, but Avesh Khan is in both squads. So that's interesting. Again, Mohammad Siraj is in both squad. Jasprit Bumrah is rested. Mohammad Shami is rested. Just to let you know, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, because a lot of people were talking that, whether Bhuvi will be there in the team or not. So Bhuvaneshwar Kumar has been included in one team, if I'm not mistaken. Is that the ODI team or the T20I team? I'm just checking. Kuldeep, Siraj, Krishna, Avesh. I do not. Yeah, he's in the T20 team. So Bhuvi is in the T20 team, is not in the ODI team. ODI team, you have Prasidh Krishna, who's in the ODI team, but not in your T20 team. So that's roughly the bowlers that we're talking about. You've got Mohammad Siraj, Avesh Khan in both squads. Harshal Patel is an extra fast bowler in T20. So is Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. Whereas if you take a look at the ODI squad, the extra fast bowlers, apart from Mohammad Siraj and Avesh Khan, Prasidh Krishna in the ODI squad. Okay. And Shardul Thakur, I beg your pardon. Shardul Thakur is in both squad, but I think you're looking at him as a all-rounder. And Deepak Chahar. Deepak Chahar, Shardul Thakur, Avesh Khan, Mohammad Siraj. 4 fast bowlers that are common in both T20I and ODI. The difference in T20I, you've got Bhuvaneshwar. In ODI, you've got Prasidh Krishna. I think that one fast bowler is a difference, just as one spinner is a difference there. Now, the most interesting bit is, so Rohit Sharma returns. Again, I don't have to tell everyone again. Rohit Sharma is your captain in both formats. So Rohit Sharma is back. Then Ruturaj Gaikwad is in the ODI squad, but not in the T20I squad. Interesting again, because it was being reported, and we had briefly mentioned that maybe Virat might take a rest from one format, but he's available in both formats. So Virat is playing both T20I and ODIs. We thought that because of workload, he may have decided to rest in one. He's not. He's in both formats, and he's playing in both teams. Rishabh Pant is your wicketkeeper in both the squads, and then you've got Ishan Kishan in your T20I squad.
T20s.
Yes, in T20s. I don't see Ishan's name in ODIs. Your vice captain in both squads is KL Rahul. KL Rahul is the vice captain both in ODIs as well as T20I. Just giving you the team. Now, again, Shikhar Dhawan finds a spot in the ODI squad. Nobody, I think, should be surprised with that. He's not in the T20I squad. Surya Kumar as well as Iyer, both are in ODI squad, as well as your
Venkatesh Iyer is in T20s, not in ODIs.
Oh, it's not in ODI. Yes, Venkatesh Iyer is in T20. You're right. Venkatesh Iyer is in
Deepak Hooda is in T20.
So
Deepak Hooda is in ODIs.
That's an interesting thing. Rahul, you expected Deepak Hooda to be there, though I had briefly mentioned his name in Sports Talk, but did you expect him to be there?
Well, for long, we've been discussing his name. We needed somebody like Deepak Hooda, who's a hard hitter and can bowl those off spinners. So he brings with him that ability and that quality that India may utilize. But I think if you ask me, Nikhil, Venkatesh Iyer, he's been dropped from the ODIs after just one series. And then he's been included in T20Is because he actually established him as a fast bowling all-rounder on the basis of that IPL, the UAE leg of the IPL last season. Then you bring in somebody like Kuldeep Yadav. Now, Kuldeep Yadav, interestingly, he hasn't played Ranji Trophy. He was injured. He didn't play the IPL because, of course, the KKR didn't play him in his 11, and he was nursing an injury, so he didn't even play the Vijay Hazare. So now you've got him in the ODI squad on the basis of maybe that's the need of the hour. That's you have gone back to your tried and tested combination, because I think what was lacking in this Indian team and initially when Kuldeep Yadav and UZ Chahal, they were included after the Champions Trophy in the Indian squad, in the Indian 11. Their USP was that they used to get wickets in the middle overs, which India were not able to find, for quite some time. So now UZ Chahal has been included. Kuldeep Yadav has been included. Venkatesh Iyer, I've already mentioned. KL Rahul is your vice captain. Where he bats in the ODIs, that will be interesting, because we start with the ODIs first. From 6th of February, the ODIs are going to start in Ahmedabad, and then the T20s. So I assume that Rohit Sharma will open with Shikhar Dhawan. Then KL Rahul comes down the order, just to add more stability, because that is where India struggled in that South Africa series also. So that's going to be interesting. Deepak Chahar, of course, has been named in both the squads. So not much of surprise. Ravi Bishnoi, considering you already had somebody like UZ Chahal in the team. Now UZ Chahal is part of both the teams, ODIs and T20s. You've gotten somebody like Ravi Bishnoi, another young leg spinner. So I'm just trying to understand the logic. Is it just to keep UZ Chahal, on his toes, or you're investing? You want to invest in somebody like Ravi Bishnoi?
Okay, so these are interesting bits that we've mentioned. Uh, One by one, share your thoughts, Rahul. As I keep informing our viewers, I already told them about the team. Ravi Bishnoi, part of both T20 and ODI team. Now, many would, I think there'll be no argument in terms of T20 cricket, because he showed it for Punjab Kings when he was playing, that he's the guy, and he's been spoken highly of. I heard a few former players talk about him, that he's the guy. Look at him. We interviewed him. It coincidentally just yesterday on Sports Tuck and Sports Today, and he's part of the team. But also comes into the ODI team. That's interesting.
Yes, and maybe he has the luck on his side. Firstly, he gets that he's included in the Lucknow franchise. In fact, I saw that interview on Sports Today and Sports Tuck with Ravi Bishnoi. So I was just trying to understand the logic behind Ravi Bishnoi. I think he's a very talented young leg spinner. But if you already have somebody like UZ Chahal, either UZ Chahal will not get too many games, or too many games in the sense he will not get all 6 games, the 3 ODIs and 3 T20 internationals. And you want to see somebody like Ravi Bishnoi, a young leg spinner, because because you can't have 2 leg spinners playing in the same game. So you want to invest in Ravi Bishnoi. But also, where is Rahul Chahar? Where is Rahul Chahar? Where is Varun Chakravarti? So basically, out of the blue, you
Maybe the
included him.
T20 World Cup. You think the T20 World Cup performance for both Varun Chakravarti and Rahul Chahar went against them?
No, against them, but you are judging them on the basis of just a couple of performances. First the Pakistan game, then the New Zealand game. So either then you were wrong, or today you are wrong. So you're not right. See, there's nothing wrong in admitting or accepting your mistake, but when you commit these kind of mistakes in a tournament like T20 World Cup, when you made UZ Chahal sit out of that tournament and got somebody like Rahul Chahar or Varun Chakravarti, and today also, I think it's an admission of guilt that you made a mistake, because you might have wanted to see somebody, you might have wanted to see Rahul Chahar. We are judging him on the basis of just 2 or 3 games in UAE during that T20 World Cup. So, anyways, let's look forward. Some interesting inclusions. Bhuvi, we were expecting that he would be dropped, considering how his performances have been lately. Deepak Hooda is an interesting choice. I'm sure Shah Rukh Khan.
What do you make of Bhuvi continuing in T20 cricket? Because even there, his performance hasn't been outstanding. We saw at the T20 World Cup as well. What do you make of that?
Nikhil, I think yesterday only I was, discussing with Mutaiya Muralidharan. He's also here, playing that Legends
We
League.
discuss cricket, on Sports Tuck with Vikrant and Jay and Nitin and Nikhil Naz are discussing. Yeah, Rahul Rawat is having these discussions with Muthaiya Muralidharan. Oh, lucky guy, you know.
So no, nothing. Because he's seen him very closely. So I was having discussions with him also, and I asked him, what's wrong with Bhuvneshwar Kumar? Just trying to read his mind, what exactly he thinks. So he was. I think till yesterday we were expecting that he would be dropped. It's surprising. Basically the problem with him is his injuries, and the moment he comes back, he finds or he takes time to get back into the rhythm. So that's one problem. But he's too talented and experienced a bowler that you want to dump him immediately. But I think time might be running out for Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Maybe this is. But I think Deepak Hooda comes into the ODI team. Venkatesh Iyer dropped. You say
So
so,
that is the
but
same.
Venkatesh.
No, but
Yeah,
Venkatesh is
please.
in the T20 squad, but not in the ODI.
Yes.
I'm saying that is it also fair on someone like a Venkatesh Iyer that you play him 2 games and then you drop him from the format completely?
That's how you look at it.
Hmm.
Because see, I honestly feel that you should have tried him initially in the T20s, because you picked him on the basis of his T20 performances, not his
Hmm.
this thing. Just because you didn't have an option, you didn't have a substitute for somebody like Hardik Pandya. You
Hmm.
saw Venkatesh Iyer bowling those good fast Yorkers and
Yes.
playing those knocks, but he's not going to open the innings here. In ODIs, it is more difficult, whatever
Hmm.
the situation is. In case you get an opportunity to bat where you have to build innings, maybe you get an opportunity where you already have a platform laid by the top order batsman. Maybe
Hmm.
it's a collapse and you're coming into bat. So I think for him, experience and that big match experience playing international cricket was more important. Now,
Hmm.
if you are saying that he has been dropped from the ODIs, Venkatesh Iyer, he also
Hmm.
knows that he's been dropped from the ODIs. And also a few disclaimers or the what do you say, postscript PS
Hmm.
that BCCI mentioned that Jadeja. I'm hearing, I might be wrong, that Jadeja also is not
Excuse me.
too well in the
Yeah.
sense he hasn't recovered. So we'll
Correct.
have to see if he's available for the IPL also. We'll have to see if he's
Yeah.
available for the IPL. Shami and
Bumrah.
Bumrah, they've been rested. They've been rested. KL Rahul would be available from the second ODI.
Hmm.
So, which would mean you don't need a vice captain, I'm sure, for the first ODI.
Hmm.
You don't need a
You,
vice
you
captain.
you don't for a 1 game. Just to again remind our viewers who are joining us, KL Rahul has been appointed vice captain in both T20 squads as well as ODI squads. We have, close to 3,200 people watching us live at the moment, and so many questions coming in, Rahul. So I'm just going to quickly answer some of
Yeah,
those.
please.
Parthav Pakhale is saying, why no Hardik Pandya, sir? We've just put you can just read a banner. It says still not fit for selection. So he has to be first fit. He has to go to the NCA, prove his fitness, like like Rohit Sharma proved, did that test, and then he was available. Yeah, go ahead, Rahul.
But did they mention anything about Hardik Pandya?
No, no, but I'm
BCCI.
saying
They
that
haven't. Jadeja they mentioned.
yes, but because Jadeja was still going to the NCA, I believe he had
Right.
gone, and because Hardik has just not gone only, so I think that was no consideration. So he'll have to go there, prove his fitness. I heard his interview where he had said that he's targeting to come back,
In
soon
the
as an all rounder, and he now wants to
soon
bowl
as
as well.
in the IPL.
Maybe IPL or just before that. I think you're playing T20s against Sri Lanka. I think that's the plan, T20s and then test. Whether if it happens the other way, I don't know. Or maybe, no, sorry, it's test and then T20s. So maybe those T20s against Sri Lanka will be just before the IPL. So possibly he plays that just before the IPL. I don't know.
No, I had heard what used to be the norm was for the fast bowlers.
Mm.
Of course, there is no they have to prove their fitness in a first
Exactly.
class game for fast bowlers. Although, of course, there are no first class games happening as of now. So maybe you never know with Hardik Pandya if he gets a chance. Anyways, you please carry on with the
Yeah,
questions.
no, I just want to quickly answer those. Hardik Mishra has a valid question. Why no Ishan Kishan in ODIs? I think the problem that they've not taken him there because there's no point keeping him on the bench. See, what we realized in South Africa as well, that even though when you were making a few changes, you still had an extra batsman in Surya Kumar to bring on, and I think they did that. So it's going to be very. And you also even had Ruturaj Gaikwad at the time. So where would you have played him? How would you have fitted
Exactly.
him in the team? So I think that's why they decided not to have him just sit on the bench. That's why I think they've gone with him in the ODIs. Ashutosh Garg has a question for you, Rahul. If you can hear
Mm-hmm.
me, he says
Yeah, please.
Venkatesh Iyer has been dropped in ODIs. Will you concur that the value of the India cap is still low and the current management is same as old? That you give the India cap very easily, and that's what happened with Venkatesh Iyer.
Absolutely. I'm not, no disrespect to Venkatesh Iyer. He's proved his mettle. That is the reason why you are there in the Indian squad, in the Indian team. Yes, and it is not just the player's fault. If he's given the India cap, I agree that today it is far too easy to get the India cap, and also you are setting a wrong precedent because there are a lot of youngsters who don't want to play the domestic cricket. Why? They want themselves to be fit for the IPL because they know now just on the basis of their performances in the IPL you can make it to the India team. So that's one more thing. And also this also says that the selection. I think the selection or the selectors, if I may say so, Nikhil, that may perhaps they are also a little fickle-minded, because you don't persist with somebody. Just as you said that Venkatesh Iyer, you got him into the team in that 11, you played him, you tried him, and then you dropped him. So maybe, yeah, maybe they are a little fickle-minded. So they need to persist with somebody for a little, maybe a little longer.
Longer. Angad Kapoor has a question. Why Prithvi Shaw is not included in T20 squad? Where is Natarajan? Why is he not picked in the T20 team? I'll tell you about Natarajan first. He wasn't even part of the Tamil Nadu Ranji Trophy
Vijay.
squad. That's another domestic squad. That's another matter. The Ranji Trophy is also not happening. I think the scheduled time that he was expected to come back onto the field or be fit to be considered even for his state team was end of January. So when he's not even fit for that, and as Rahul explained earlier as well, that once you're fit and you're available domestic cricket as a fast bowler, you have to play domestic matches and then prove your fitness, then you are available. So if he's going to be fit, that was the earlier, I remember, sort of a timeline they had for
Yes.
Nataraj, that will be fit at in
Okay.
end of January. So we've not even reached there. And I don't think he's still fit to play that. He'll have to play a match, then he'll go. Prithvi Shaw, I think at the moment, I mean, you can look at him, but the competition is so tight there. Where is it that you're going to play him? We had a question here, why are you not looking at Ishan Kishan? And in T20 cricket, you've got Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul. How else will you get him to open? Someone like Ruturaj Gaikwad, who's performing more consistently than Prithvi Shaw as an opener, doesn't find his name in the T20 squad. So you can realize how tough it is there. So I think IPL will be another chance, Prithvi Shaw, if he can prove himself, get some more consistent scores. It will happen. Ashutosh Garg has a super chat, says Nikhil, on 31st you said selection pressers will become a norm, but the norm got broken in the next one. It was clearly for one day.
Absolutely.
Ashutosh is
Bingo.
bingo.
No,
What do you,
yes, absolutely, Nikhil. And we were also waiting if there will be a press conference today or not. That is what we were also thinking. Right after Virat Kohli had addressed that press conference, if I can call it a controversial press conference. After that, a lot of hue and cry was made between Virat that there's something brewing between the board and the Indian captain, now the former captain, if I can call him now.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and we were told that these press conferences will be a norm now. Every selection there'll be a press conference by the selection committee or the selection committee chairman. But then, was that press conference now specifically held only and only to deny what Virat Kohli had said during the press conference which he addressed just before leaving South Africa? Now that's the question.
No, and it's an obvious answer. Clearly,
Yes,
if you've not had a, and actually, to be fair, at that time I thought that maybe because so much controversy happened earlier, they will now make it a norm that the chairman of selector will come and address press conferences, so that no more there's any sort of confusion, right? But clearly, it's not happened this time. So I think the BCCI likes it this way. The other bit is, see now, I mean, again, it's an obvious thing. The team has been announced now, and everywhere else, whether it was on social media, whether it was various news agencies, everyone had flashed the news of what the team is going to be. In fact, we as well, in our sort of a looking forward to the selection, and roughly told you the entire team. So my point is, why won't you have more transparency? Why don't you get the chairman of selectors just come out and say things openly and explain the decision? Nah, right now, see, right now there is no Ashwin's mentioned. You mentioned a few other players in terms of injury. There's no mention of Ravi Chandran Ashwin. What we are going to assume now clearly is that he's dropped. You're leaving it to our
exactly.
imagination. He's not part of the ODI. He's not part of the T20I. You've given fitness update on Ravindra Jadeja, on Jasprit Bumrah, on Mohammad Shami, KL Rahul, but you've not given any update on Ravi Chandran Ashwin. So then, I mean, it may be that he's dropped and they want to send that message clearly, but it shouldn't happen tomorrow. They come out and say, "Oh no, he was injured and we hadn't dropped him." So
Exactly. And
I don't know.
and hopefully, if we say that he's not fit, he's injured, or rather, if we say that he's been dropped, I hope that he doesn't feel bad. That people are saying that I've been dropped.
Or does he feel bad usually?
No, I'm just saying he shouldn't feel that way.
Okay. Okay, there's no place for Rishi Dhawan. What do you make of it? Because so many viewers were sending his name. We had told them at 6 o'clock when we did our preview to the selection, we told them that yes, I know a lot of people are floating his name on social media, but to tell you honestly, he's done well, but it's going to be very tough for him to make the team because you're not going to shun Venkatesh Iyer after just one series, though they've done it in ODI, but at least they've kept him in T20I. But the interesting bit is, if they've gone for Deepak Hooda, they could have gone for a Rishi Dhawan. What do you make of it?
To be very honest, he was not in contention as far as this tour was concerned. I remember after the South Africa squad was announced, the ODI squad, his name was mentioned, and also the selectors wanted to rotate their bowlers because they wanted to give enough rest. In fact, till a week ago, I was expecting that even Shardul Thakur would be given some rest because he's been also playing constantly non-stop cricket in every format, be it T20Is, ODIs, or Test cricket. He's been playing non-stop constantly. So I was expecting that he will also be rested. But maybe they didn't want to make so many wholesale changes, so they got him. But Rishi Dhawan, after that selection happened, we were told that Rishi Dhawan would be in contention and most likely he will make it to the squad. But as far as things have changed since then, since that squad was announced on 31st of December. This is almost 20-25 days now, and he was not in contention as far as this particular today. At least he was not in contention.
Okay, I'm going to take few more questions really fast. I'll go because so many super chats. I'm going to miss all of them. Shiva Kumar says,
Mm.
instead of Bhuvi, high time to give someone like Arshdeep Singh a chance, genuine, proven T20 bowler. I agree with you, Shiva Kumar. I think it's time. Harshdeep is on really. Arshdeep, I think, is very underrated. And I think you've given Bhuvi
Left
enough.
arm.
Left arm. That's what I'm
I
saying.
wanted I wanted to see a left arm fast bowler.
And since Natarajan is not fit, and Khalil has also had
Yes.
a drop in form, I think Arshdeep, and he's doing well. Yeah, I think he's really underrated. It's a genuine point. Just going to move forward quickly. Pankaj Kashyap says, who would you pick between Deepak Thakur? Deepak Thakur, you mean Deepak
Deepak
Cheher
Chahar and
and
Shardul
Harshal
Thakur.
Patel? I think he talks about, or he means between Deepak Cheher, Shardul Thakur, and Harshal Patel. Do you mean that, or do you mean Deepak Cheher and Harshal Patel? I can't really make out because you've written Deepak Thakur in T20I. He's taken. Okay, he's talking about all three: Deepak Cheher, Shardul Thakur, Harshal Patel in T20. As all three are very similar qualities, don't you think Patel is a bit ahead as far as variations? Pankaj Kashyap, I think I agree with you. As a bowler, I think Harshal
As a
Patel,
bowler.
yeah, is number one. But you can go in with two, and I would be tempted to go with a Deepak Chahar and Harshal Patel, because Harshal, as you're saying, more skillful, so he'll do the job. And I will prefer Deepak Chahar because he gets you that early wicket. And Shardul on certain occasions can be expensive. Both offer you a lot with the ball, so that's it. Maybe next one you can answer. Rahul Shobham Sai says, very good point. Shobham Sai, I don't think you need to answer it. I'll just take the comment because he makes a very valid point. He's saying maybe Markram bowling in South Africa ODI matches made selectors think of Deepak Hooda for selection consideration. That's a valid point because we keep looking at a fast bowling all rounder. Sometimes you can look at a spin bowling all rounder as well. What do you
Yes.
think?
True, and that is what the that is even Washington Sundar also brings that ability. You can get him to bowl in the power play. You can get him to bowl in the death, and in the IPL also we've seen Deepak Hooda. He started he's bowling he bowls those initial overs also. So yes, a batting all rounder, or rather batting all rounder who bowls a spin. So Jadeja had that ability. I think the moment Jadeja comes in, a lot will change. He adds more stability. But Deepak Hooda, he was in the radar, and also even Shah Rukh Khan. Shah Rukh Khan would feel that he also had a chance, and actually he did have a chance. Unfortunately, didn't happen though.
Okay. Mayank Gupta says Rahul Chahar and Varun Chakravarti. We've already discussed that, so I'm not going back again. You can go back into the chat and there are two ways of looking at it. Yes, they weren't outstanding, but then if you want, you just bring them into one tournament and then decide that they are not good enough is also not good. I think you needed to give them a longer rope. Also, nobody had a great T20 World Cup per se for the Indian team, but you didn't forget about certain players. But I think these were easy targets, so you've
Yes.
let them go. There was a question about Chandresh, our friend, has a comment, so I'll just take that comment. A 10:35 p.m. announcement shows media is taken for granted. Of course, Chandresh has nothing new. So, in the words of MS Dhoni, nothing more to add. That was the story many years ago. It will continue to be that, but you and I just continue doing our job. Sanju Samson, people have mentioned. That's interesting, Rahul, because he does sometimes make that backdoor entry into the team. But as we're standing right now, I think in a scenario where Pant, I think, is still your first choice keeper. You've also got
And
Ishan Kishan
second,
as backup.
where will you bat him? Where will you bat him?
Exactly. And you've
Where
got
will you
Ishan
bat
Kishan.
Ishan Kishan?
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I'm saying even if somebody asked about Ishan Kishan also, I'm saying where will you bat even Ishan Kishan?
And I
Because your
think they
top
may,
three set.
yeah, and I think they may even look at someone like a KL Rahul again keeping in ODI cricket. Don't be surprised if they want to look at another option after Rishabh. But at the moment, I think Rishabh is the number one.
Yes.
Okay. Will Ruturaj once again sit out, sir? Too early to say. Umran Malik, people have said that. I think he's an exciting talent, but suddenly you can't have everyone in the team. I think your fast bowlers that you pick pretty much par for the course. I think the only objection people might have is with Bhuvi making the T20 squad, but I think they've given him a slightly longer rope for the kind of yeoman service he's done for Indian
Right.
and the kind of pedigree he has. So they've thought before completely writing him off, just like you do with a lot of top batsmen, you give them slightly longer rope. So I think Bhuvi, in terms of as a bowler, does come across as someone who's been outstanding. Yes, extended poor run has continued. Maybe it's the thought that okay, one last chance and then take a final call on him. That could have been the option
True.
that they've decided. Where is Ashwin? Fiesta videos is saying, sir, Ashwin is just to let you know, we are getting to know here that he wasn't fit. That's why I didn't play the ODI. But because the BCCI has not mentioned, they mentioned about other people's injuries. They've not mentioned, so we are assuming he's dropped. And to be fair, we heard from a lot of people. We had Harbhajan Singh on Sports Today yesterday, and he said that he thinks that it's time to look beyond Ashwin in white ball cricket. So maybe that's the thought that the selectors had as well. Okay, you answer this. Sobham Sai says, how? No, I'll take. There are. Sorry, this is by Shiva Kumar. Why create a myth that Venkatesh Iyer has to bat in the middle order when Rahul can bat in the middle order in ODI? Why can't in T20s? Will bring freshness in the approach. Interesting. So he's saying if Venkatesh is doing well as a top order batsman, send him there. KL has done in the middle order in ODI. At the moment, Venkatesh Iyer is not in ODIs, but he has a valid suggestion, Shiva. What do you make of it?
But in ODIs, that is what is going to happen. KL Rahul will bat in the middle order because mm, because if you remember last time for the South Africa tour, he himself announced that now that Rohit Sharma is not available, he is injured. He said, I will open the innings with Shikhar Dhawan." So now what is going to happen in the ODIs? He is going to bat in the middle order, and T20s you may take a chance one or a couple of times because your top three is set in T20s. Rohit, KL Rahul, and Virat Kohli. You don't want to change. Maybe if you ask me, I would want to see somebody like Ishan Kishan, because he gives you a left-right combination also. Because we often criticize, we often point this out. Nikhil, you also have been pointing this out that we need to change the template of how we play T20 cricket. So if you have, nothing is going to change because your top order, bulk of your scoring is going to happen from the top order, that is Rohit, KL, and Virat. So if you want to change a lot of things, maybe you'll have to rejig a few batting combination.
Okay, quickly answering a few. Ron Weasley says, why not play Avesh? He has space, but Avesh has been selected in both T20Is and ODIs. So, Ron, that's a update for you. Ahmed Ullah, Shivanshu Tiwari, and Vijit Malvia all have asked a question about Jayant Yadav, that he's been dropped, unfair on him, and I'll answer that question. See, you got to realize Jayant wasn't part of the plan to be part of that ODI team. He only got a chance because he was with the team there earlier as well. And remember, Washington Sundar got COVID last moment, so that's why he filled his place. But now that Washington is fit, it's only fair he comes back. Jayant, you know what he can give you, but as I'm saying, it's only fair you go with the guy you have trusted him before. After you've given them chances, you can always go back to Jayant. So I think that's the thinking. I don't see anything wrong in that thinking. Shobham Sai has a question. Rahul, you could answer that. He says, how do you play both Yuzi and Bishnoi in the T20 playing 11? Both leg
I won't
spinners.
play them. They both won't play together.
No, but also Rahul, we've seen certain teams. I'm just taking IPL. Punjab Kings plays Murugan, Ashwin, and Bishnoi. What's the harm? Is there a harm playing two leg spinners?
No, but if you remember this season, they didn't even play even one leg spinner. It was only later that they realized we have somebody like Murugan Ashwin and Ravi Bishnoi. And then they were
Last season.
drafted into the
That
11
was
last
season to
season.
yeah. I mean the
Last
2020,
la,
2020.
last yeah.
Yeah.
So that is, but you will if I talk only and only about T20s, I think Kuldeep Yadav, they would first try Kuldeep Yadav with Chehel in ODIs, because you start with the ODIs. T20s, you may just give him that's what I'm saying. You will, if you're picking somebody on the basis of his T20 performances, first get him to play the T20s so that he builds that confidence that he needs, to play international cricket. So the moment that confidence comes in, he gets some wickets under his belt. So you just groom him for the longer format. First, the ODIs, Tests I can't say because leg spinners don't play Test cricket. I don't know what that logic is, but still. So in T20s, if you ask me, Washington Sundar, Chehel, oblique, Ravi Bishnoi, and if you have somebody like Deepak Hooda in the ranks, but it
Okay.
also shuts the door. Maybe if you've got somebody like Deepak Hooda, maybe it shuts the door on Kunal Pandya also.
Yeah, no talk of we had a few questions about Kunal Pandya earlier, but I think it's clear now that they've started looking ahead. They've given him enough chances, and I think the thinking is they're looking ahead, and that's the thinking of the selectors. Yeah.
And Deepak Hooda, I'm sorry, I just got that wrong. Deepak Hooda is only in the ODIs, not in the T20s. So you have somebody like Akshar Patel. You have some Akshar Patel in the 11. So maybe these three will make it to the 11. And Deepak Chahar, you mentioned Deepak Chahar and Harsh.
Can you hear me now, Rahul? I think I've lost his connection. So I'm going to quickly take till Rahul joins back. I'm going to take a few of your comments that are coming. Abhishek Mittal says Shah Rukh Khan should be groomed in domestic cricket as a finisher in T20s. He should play for India A now so that he can play his part well in the future. Okay. So that was one comment I've taken of Abhishek Mittal. I'm going to take a few other comments and questions as well. Sandeep Jain has joined and he has a very valid point. He says, can you repeat the team? So, firstly, you will see a lot of these banners playing out there, which we are giving you the important points, but good idea. Let me quickly repeat the team for those of you who are joining us now. In ODIs, you've got Rohit Sharma as captain, KL Rahul is a vice captain. He will not play the first ODI, he'll be available from the second ODI. Then there's Ruturaj Gaikwad, Shikhar Dhawan, Virat Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav, Shreyas Iyer. Deepak Hooda is the new name, Rishabh Pant, Deepak Chahar, Shardul Thakur, Yuzi Chahal. These are the players that you had seen in South Africa. Kuldeep Yadav again is a new name. Washington Sundar, remember, was selected to be part of the team, but because of COVID couldn't go to South Africa. He comes back. Ravi Bishnoi is another new name added to the ODI team. Mohammad Siraj was already there. Prasidh Krishna was already there. Avesh Khan comes into the ODI team. He was part of the T20 team, but comes into the ODI team for the first time. That's the ODI team. Quickly running you through the T20I team. Rohit Sharma is your captain. KL Rahul is a vice captain. Ishan Kishan is there, retained. Virat Kohli is playing both ODIs and T20Is. The Shreyas Iyer, Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant is your wicketkeeper. Venkatesh Iyer remains in T20I, but it misses from the ODI squad. Then you've got Deepak Chahar, Shardul Thakur, Ravi Bishnoi also included in the T20I squad. Akshar Patel, Yuzi Chahal. Akshar Patel also comes back. That means he's fit. He was unfit earlier. Then you've got Washington Sundar making both squads. So is Mohammad Siraj. Bhuvneshwar Kumar has missed out in ODI team but is back in the T20 team. Avesh Khan remains in the T20 team. And Harshal Patel also remains in the T20 team. Remember, he was part of the T20 team versus New Zealand. Okay. Oh, God. Too many questions.
How many people are watching us?
3,500 odd, 3,600 actually, to be precise. I'm going to take a few. Okay, some comments are there. I'll just take. Ankur Kumar says selection panel in BCCI should equal responsible for World Cup loss, as all selected spinner bowlers are out of the squad. I know you are both only unbiased. So thank you for thinking that we are unbiased. Firstly, secondly, you're saying that he's right.
And he's right. And he's right.
Yeah. Absolutely, Ankur Kumar. Bang on. You have a valid point. Lakshman Kulkarni says 1, 2, 3 are sorted from 2019 World Cup. Say we've been, no issues in 1, 2, 3. It's always the middle order. Agreed. That's been a consistent problem. You're trying Shreyas, Pant, Surya, Rahul. Agreed. But you have enough time, is what I'm saying. Great. You've persisted with them, not dropped a lot of them. So persist with them. You'll get your answers, I think, going forward. Okay. I've repeated the team, sir. Ayush Pandey, yes, KL not available for first ODI. That's correct. I mentioned that. So many. There was a comment. Sorry, I've missed your name. Who said that maybe they got, and it was an interesting comment. They said maybe they got Deepak Hooda because of 50 over World Cup is in India. And you may need spinning all-rounders. Remember, we kept talking about how India misses the Suresh Rainas, the Yuvraj Singhs of the world who would come and bowl a few overs and get you through those, important overs. And we were doing that. Yeah.
And as it is, he was knocking on the doors. This perhaps was the opportunity with Ravindra Jadeja injured, because you also always have to have a plan B. In case something of this sort does happen in future and Jadeja unfortunately misses out, he's not available, gets injured, so then you always need to have a backup option.
That is true. So in ODIs, no senior fast bowler. I got a question here. Yes, sir, because both Bhuvi as well as Bumrah, Bhuvi, I'm saying. Bumrah as well as Mohammad Shami, both have asked for a rest. They've had a very long time, playing cricket. So I think they've decided to rest for some time. Rahul, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay. We lost your video briefly, so I thought...
Basically, I was getting my messages. So it's dinner time here. It's already... What time? Oh, we still have time. It must be 11:30 in India.
It is 11:30. Yes, it is
Yeah.
11:30. I think we've
Okay.
gone on for very long. I think we've answered pretty much all the questions that people had asked us for. Gone on for close to 45 minutes. Any thoughts that you have on the team, uh, apart from the fact that we had mentioned everything and told our viewers at 6 p.m. only what the team is going to be like? It's roughly or almost
Exactly.
that we had mentioned. But yeah, I think.
Yeah, nothing surprises me also because more or less we knew what was happening. We knew about Ravi Bishnoi, we knew about Kuldeep Yadav. In fact, I messaged him. I had a word with him also, Kuldeep Yadav. I
Okay.
asked him, so I think this time he would prefer to just focus on his game. So that's what I could gauge from the little conversation that I had, just to congratulate that he's making a comeback on the basis of, despite not playing a lot, this is what luck is. You are playing for India, you're playing for an IPL franchisee, you are, one of these most sought after player, and
Uh,
something happens and you are out of the reckoning. Today, you're not doing anything. You just recovered from an injury. You didn't play the IPL. You were dropped from your IPL franchisee. You were dropped from the Indian team. Nothing was happening for you, and suddenly you get a call. You get a national call up. So
yeah.
this is what he wanted. So many times we say, they used to be, one uncle used to tell me that जैसे अच्छा टाइम हमेशा नहीं रहता वैसे खराब टाइम भी अच्छा हमेशा नहीं रहता. So maybe this is so nothing. Venkatesh Iyer, ODI, you could have still persisted with him, but maybe you realize that your batting order was sorted, and you knew what 11 you wanted, because Rohit Sharma was also present in that selection committee meeting. So
Yeah.
he would have thought or said that this is what I want, and this is the 11, just three ODI. So I would want to persist with somebody who've been part of this squad or with this Indian team for longer than Venkatesh Iyer. We'll still go with Venkatesh Iyer in the ODIs, but let's stick to Shreyas Iyer, because you have somebody like Shreyas Iyer, then Surya Kumar Yadav, Deepak Hooda, you've also drafted him in the squad. So when will you try? Because you just have three games. Three games. Deepak Hooda is not in the. I don't think it's end of the road for Venkatesh Iyer in the ODIs, but maybe I don't know what it does to his confidence, because now you are also saying, I am also saying that he's been dropped because the last series that he played was an ODI series. So
Yep.
that's now I would have wanted to see a left arm fast bowler. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, but left arm fast bowler, just to let people know, the option that you had, Khalil Ahmed, has been a bit low in terms of his performance.
No,
As seeing, and T Natarajan is still not fit. So once he's fit, he comes back. Chetan Sakaria also, I think, is now out of the consideration that the Indian team had. I think the one you can look at is Arshdeep Singh. Is the one guy we got that people suggesting as well. Plus they've got Nagar Swala. He was with the team as a net bowler. So but we haven't seen much of him. Maybe they can look at him.
exactly.
Yeah, maybe look at him going forward. Okay, we'll call it a night. But Rao, thanks so much for joining us. Go have dinner. Have a good night at that time. And thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope we answered all your questions. All the details are there in the video. We've answered all possible questions. For those of you who joined us late, go back, check the video out, and don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today, because that's when you get to know the latest news, like you got to know today when we had told you what the team is going to look like about 4 hours before the team was announced. Tomorrow, another day, plenty to talk about, because this news will develop. More updates will come in. We'll keep updating you. So see you tomorrow. Till then, good night. Have a good night, Rahul. Enjoy. Bye.
Good night to you too, Nikhil. Thank you.